Today we're replacing a cam position sensor. I think I'm going to go ahead and replace both of them on a 2008 Nissan Maxima. And here's the issue. It's a 3.5 liter V6. We turn this key right here on. See all these lights? Well, listen, when I go to start this thing right here, it cranks real long before it starts. Bam, finally starts. See this light right down here? That comes on. However, I can hook it to the computer and turn the cam position sensor off, or reset it. And once I do that, then that light goes off. So what we're going to do is replace that today, and I'll show you how. Why that sensor actually does it. Mine shows circuit bank 1, which basically I can tell on the internet is the one in the back. However, I'm just going to replace both of them, I would say, unless just one of them fixes it. I'm going to show you where they both are. Now what happens is that sensor, it takes it a minute when you go to start this thing, so it doesn't know I guess the cam itself is moving, so it takes a minute for the sensor starts working. One thing it also does is does a jerking thing. You'll be driving down the road and it'll go and it pulls like you'll be pushing the brake and not even giving it gas and slowing down, and it'll jerk because it's, I guess my assumption is that sensor is picking up that circuit at random times and it's spotty. So the idea is we're going to replace that. Then we'll have to have the computer reset, which had an issue. Another issue that I had with this prior to this, another complaint was it randomly shut off once, which is bad because, well, basically you don't want this thing shutting off while you're pulling out on the road or while you're turning on the road or just in general just shutting off. It's a really bad idea. So that could be an issue that you might be facing as well. So let me explain where this stuff is. If you look right down in here, see that green cap? This should be circuit bank number 1 right there, and that's the back. It's facing, that's close to the windshield right there. See it right there? Circuit bank 1 should be right there. There's one 10mm bolt that's holding that on there, and it's right there. Oops. It's right there, down in there. Right there. There's one 10mm, all holds that on there. Circuit bank 1. Circuit bank 2, when you're looking at the front of this engine, is right here. And it's a lot easier to reach, as you can tell. The sensor itself on this one looks different than the back one. Still 10mm, which is right here. I'm sorry. This is a 10mm right here. So all you have to do is take that off, and that thing will pop off, and then you take the connection loose. Should work. Now these are the sensors that we have. I went ahead and got both of them, so I wasn't sure which one I needed. And I tell you they look different. I'll show you. The part number for this one is this. This is one. This is the other one. Now what's the difference? Well, this one, by looking at it, is circuit bank 1. No, I'm sorry. This one, got the sensors bent up. This is circuit bank 2. Tells me it'll go right here. So as you can see, that's bent up, and I'll show you more when I take it out. So all we gotta do is take this right here, get that one bolt right there off, 10mm, slide that new one in, connect it back up. So circuit bank 2, the front sensor is this one. Circuit bank 1, the back one, is this one. And it looks like this. So it's just flat. There's no bend to it. That'd be that hard to reach one that's right back here by the windshield. So let's take this loose. And foremost, take this negative battery terminal off. This one is a 10mm bolt. Next thing you want to do is you want to remove this air box cleaner, so that way you can reach it. And the reason why is you can reach it without it, but you'd hate to drop this bolt up there to the left. You'd hate to drop that, so just take it loose. Get your hand in here now. The connector that's mounted right back here with the mass airflow sensor is 10 millimeter, which is here. Which is here. This one just use a flathead screwdriver, or if you got a flathead screwdriver, just use them both. Get that loose. Already got that broke loose. I'll pull it out. Thing come right out here. This is circuit bank 1. Comes right out here. Had to wiggle a little bit because I guess it seals in there pretty good. It does have oil on it, so be cautious of that. Wipe it off. Now we're going to replace it, which requires us taking loose this connector right here. You get it loose here, and I'll walk you through how to do it after I remove this piece. This thing loose, which took me a second to figure out. Right here on this connector, there's a piece right here, and this is spring loaded. That piece is. It's pushed all the way in. So that piece will slide on. I'll push it all the way in. And flathead screwdriver stuck down between there and just pry it on it. Just stuck a screwdriver in there and twisted it. Popped out. Now I dropped my piece, or I'd show it to you, the old one, down in the bay here, and I heard it hit the undercarriage cover. So I have to fish it out in a minute. I think it hit the ground, but so the new one, when it goes in one way, you see there's no groove on this side. See the groove on this side? Groove on this side matches up. That connector's at. When you push that in there, got this right here. See when I push this, see it move? You can feel the spring on it too. Push it. Here, snap. See now the thing slid back up. Now you're ready to stick it right back in that hole there. Put the bolt back in it. And something else I did too, I know that head's probably aluminum and that bolt is steel. So I went in and put a little anti-seize on it. I didn't cake it. Another thing to remember when you're putting these bolts back in here is don't crank the piss out of these bolts when you put them back. The reason why is because if you strip that thread, you're going to have hell. And it's easy to do with a steel bolt and aluminum head. I'd say it was just snug and it come off pretty easy. So I'd say less than probably 14 foot-pounds. So make sure you just snug that in there. Don't torque the piss out of it. Another thing, when you're sticking it in there, there's an O-ring that goes around that. Push that O-ring all the way in there and make sure it seals good. And so that way it goes in there even. And then put it on there. But I put a little anti-seize on that bolt. Put this air box back where it goes, which technically is like this. Mount that back up. And we're going to check the car. Position sensor on this, which is located. Here's the engine. And here is the fuse panel. I believe what that is. Yep. Here's where the fuses are. It's located right here in the front, and you can see it by the green connector. If you look right over here, you see the green connector. Green on it, just like the back one. Make sure to do this, you can't reach this with a wrench. I have an actual swivel, one of these kind of swivels, and it catches, and it's not enough to break it loose. You sure don't want to strip that out. So it took a little time to get out because I used a ratchet wrench, 10 millimeter. Just right down through here, take that off there, just get that off there. Now you might be able to get the 10 millimeter with the actual, it just swivels and it just goes up here and there's a swivel built in it. It's shorter, they might work. Either which way, a 10 millimeter wrench, I got a ratchet wrench, but a 10 millimeter regular wrench will work too. Just take some time. Now we got that loose. Now all you got to do is wiggle this a little bit, because it has an O-ring seal on it as well. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Oops. Wiggle, wiggle. Just like that. Bam. See, it's got the bend in it. Circuit bank 2. Now we're going to take this one loose, same way we did the other one. and seize the bolt, put it back in there, tighten it down. That'll be all she wrote. In there first. Here's the O-ring. This piece right here. Now if you want to put a little oil on that, if you want, before you put it in there, that's entirely up to you. There's one on this one and one on the number 1 in the back. Right here, I managed to drop it, which sucks, but it's mile up. So for future reference, before you start this project, go pick you up 2 M6 by 1.0. They're standard sizes, so you should be able to find them at the hardware store. They have a 10mm head on them. The ones from the parts store might have a different size head on it, but go ahead and pick you some of them up just to be safe. And if you ain't sure the size on it, just guesstimate it by the one I showed you earlier. And then get you a couple washers, so that way if it is too long you can still reach it. You can still put the things on it. The other thing is remove this hose right here that goes into this, right here into this head, part of the evaporation system. Take that loose so that way you can reach this a lot easier. You still can't get in here. I couldn't get in here with nothing but a wrench, and that's because of the gooseneck right here. In case you ever have to change, in case you're ever wondering where that's at, it's right here. Runs right here and into the radiator. Now I took the bottom part down there and couldn't find this bolt. Luckily I had one on hand. Fit right back in there. Word of the wise, M6 by 1.00 is the thread for that, in case you have to replace it. Next, we're going to buckle this back up and we're going to fire it up. Fire right up. Now they say you're supposed to reset the computer before this will work, but I unhooked the battery. As you can see, the temperature thing, it's adjusting too, and the clock's off, so maybe it reset itself. Either which way, I'm still going to hook it up at the computer and go from there. So that, guys, is how you replace the cam position sensor. This specific one is a 08 Nissan Maxima, but I'm assuming it should be all the same for a 3.5 liter V6.